Minecraft villages can be a little bit boring looking, but Kyle from Kylecraft and I are going to transform this village into two different styles. Don't you go anywhere if you want to see what we're going to do. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, depending on what time you're watching this next episode from me, Amamance, on this collaboration video with Kylecraft. We are transforming a village in two ways. You can see right up in the background there my medievally rusticy version of the village, and Kyle has done a really quite awesome modern version of the village. If you've not seen the other two, go and watch the other two first, otherwise you won't get the story. Today, we are transforming two buildings. Yes, two buildings. It's not going to be easy. Let me just turn myself around. We're going to be transforming... Oh, I can't see. We're going to be transforming these two different varieties of small buildings. They are small. That means they are going to be properly tricky to be able to do anything with. So we've got the one with the logs on its head. Looks like it's got some kind of weird haircut. And we've got the square one. Both of them are boring. Now, you could argue that the one in the middle of the screen there is different from the one down there, but actually, for the sake of this, I'm just seeing that as having 6 more logs on top. They're the same, definitely, and there is one over here that, even though it's got fence posts on its roof, I'm considering that to be the same as well. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 houses that we are going to be making, although it's two varieties. So we're going to go through making one first and then doing the second one. Let's crack on. I have marked out where we're going to have these 6 houses there. You can see there are 3 5x5s and there are 3 4x5s. Those 4x5s are going to be a nightmare, but let's crack on. We're going to do the 4x5 first. For both builds, we're going to be using a palette that is fairly similar to the one that we've used before. So we've got our oak log and our stripped oak logs. We've got some dark oak, cobble and stone bricks. We've got a little bit of normal stone. We've got stone walls, some buttons, various bits that you'd find inside as well. This is actually going to be very difficult. We've got very little space to work with, so we have to be very careful that we don't overdo it, but at the same time give ourselves enough room for detail. First things first, let's get ourselves a frame, and I keep getting told I'm cheating by going outside the edges, so we're going to try and stay within the edges on this one, and it's going to be really quite tricky. How do you stay within the edges on a 4x5? Not quite sure I'm going to achieve this, and I can feel cheating coming on already. Let's get rid of that one and put in just a little bit of strip there, because that's what looks nice, and we can end up having, I reckon, 3 on each side. Just for now, we may build that up just a little bit more, but we're not going to raise this one up off the floor like the last one. It would just look a bit silly if we went up when the house is really only a tiny little matchbox. So we need to be cautious that we don't make it look silly, but at the same time we also don't want it to basically look like it's very, very tall on stilts. That wouldn't work at all. And then what I'm just going to do, just to give myself a little bit of a feel for how it will look, I'm just going to put cobble around here just to model it out, and I'm going to put the spruce door there. So that is how we're going to look. And what we can't do, therefore, is we can't have a pane of glass there, but we can have some glass. I'm going to put some glass on this one there, I think, and I might actually put glass on both sides of that. That might work. I'm a little bit concerned that that's too much glassage, but we're going to go with it anyway. So I'm just going to... Let's just cobble it out so as we can see what the shape looks like. It's going to be boxy. We're going to have to do something really quite interesting to make this one look not rubbish. Right, well, we're going to give them some headroom at least. So let's come out one higher with these posts here. Give them a little bit of headroom, make a fairly classic frame on this, I think. And that is probably enough. We're then going to get some stone brick stairs, and we're going to put those over the window, and I'm actually going to put it under the window as well. We'll do the same on this side, and that will give us at least a little bit of indentation there, which is always nice to see. And put that there and there. And if I just again build it with cobble for now, we're going to change it without a doubt because it doesn't look quite right, but that's where we are in terms of the shape. I'm going to have to put feet on it because if I don't, I just feel like it's going to fall over. But I might actually, let's use cobble feet. I think on this instance, do we want to use cobble feet? Or do we want to use dark oak stair feet? So as it's in keeping. Yeah, I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to use dark oak stair feet just on the outsides of here. We're not going to put any more width on this. It's just not big enough to do kind of this double oak with buttons and steps like. It just isn't going to work. So we've got to do something a little bit more simple. But what we can do is we can bring out our 3 different types of stone, and we can use stone just to accent that up a little bit like that. Put that there. So that makes for a slightly more interesting wall on that side. Let's put stone there, stone bricks there, and that there. And then here we can put that up the top. We'll have cobble there, like that. Okay, so it's all right so far. We've got a lot of work to do here, people, because this is a tough shape. So what we'll do next is we'll stick a little bit of a roof on it. And again, for this type of build, we sort of have to do this trimmed gable end. It just works. So let's just pop those on each side. And because of the size of this one, the way it's going to come up is going to be slightly different to the others, in that the gable is going to meet there. Can you see? It's sort of a much shallower roof as a result of it being an even number. I don't normally like to work with even numbers, but you know, we're going to work within the footprint on this one, so let's see how it goes. We've got that there, and that there. I think it'll be okay. So let's trim this up and around like normal there and there. Do the same on this side and there, and then we'll put upside down steps on there, upside down steps on there. Okay, so we've got, it's all right. What I do think I want to do though is I want to bring a lift to the roof because that is too flat, which means I also want my cobblestone slab to bring a lift to this part as well. That is already significantly better in terms of the shape. You can see that there. Coming inside, we've got, well, pretty much virtually no room here whatsoever, have we? But what we can do is we can bring in a little bit of shelving, and we can put a shelf there, which means that we can bring a chest there and there. So there is one chest, and we can open it because we've got steps above it. We are going to struggle to get very much else in here, but let's, obviously this is a house, so this poor little fella is going to want to sleep. Let's make it a nice white bed, nice and crisp, and we'll shove the bed there. And then what we'll also do is we're going to put that there and that there, so he's got a little table. And I think, to be honest, other than another chest there, we're probably not going to be able to fit an awful lot else in here. Let's give the poor man some light, assuming it is a man, and we'll put the light above the door like that. And what I then want to do is I want to get an item frame, pop an item frame on that, and then get a trap door. Which trap door shall we use? Let's use an oak trap door, and we're going to put an oak trap door into the item frame, and that looks like a really nice way to hold that torch. That works beautifully. And then what we can also do actually is we can get another little shelf. Should we go dark oak again? Another, oh, so we can't come in. No, we probably can. No, we can't because that trapdoor is there. That's a shame. I wanted to do that, but you know what? No, it won't. Let's get that out like that. Let's put that in there instead. Let's put a little table there so as he can look out the window whilst he's doing it. We'll have another shelf on that, and that is where we will put a crafting table under there and another little chest just there. This guy has got stacks of storage. It's actually not too bad at all. We've put some extra little detail. Obviously got to stick your stone buttons on the wood. Remember, stone on wood and wood on stone. That's how you get the best effect, because you get the contrast of the stone and the wood together. We've put some fencing across underneath. Really, this is again to give it some depth. So we've now got, effectively looking at the side here, what looks like 3 layers of depth, even though we've only got a 5x4 house. The 3 layers being the inside of the window, the inner window, coming out through the step, and then we've got this kind of trellisy looking thing, and the green with a bit of barky wood there. Green works really well. Carl said it in his video last week, and he's absolutely right. Green works when you do these kinds of builds. It pulls everything out. So we've got some more on this side. We've used a trapdoor there as a kind of a shelf that we're putting a little pot on, and a little bit more green and more trellis. And then on the roof here, we've shoved a tiny little chimney pot using a flower pot as the actual chimney, and it works rather well. You can see inside it's got quite a nice little space, and I think we've done all right for a 5x4. That ain't too shabby. Next up is our little 5x5 friend. Now, whilst this has got just that little bit of extra dimension, this is not going to be any easier. So we're going to go again 4 high on each of these corners, I think, and then that will give us the necessary crossbeam to have a fairly decent grid, I think. 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. Bring it up. Bring that grid across like that. Now, the advantage of this type of grid is you get a much nicer roof, because the roof will come to a point on the end. So I'm just going to put the gable on the roof now. Not really because I want to put it on for building purposes, but it's going to give me a bit of visual. So I'm just going to pop this up. So that's up there, that's up there, that's up there, and that's up there. Bringing it round like that. Get a cobblestone block, because this is the difference between these builds. This is why we get this extra space, because you can bring an overhang out on this one and it just looks a little bit nicer. Then obviously pull in the rest of the roof. I'll just finish that off. So we have our frame and it works nicely for that size. Now what we've got to do is we've got to bring it round the front. I'm going to put the door in the middle. The advantage of that is that we can have a little bit of wallage on both sides, but I am still going to bring a nice strip wood floor all the way along like that. And now what I'm going to do, same as I do all the time, is I'm just going to give myself the visual of the wall. I'm not going to indent this wall, because again, for the same reason as that one over there, it's not got enough space to be able to make a dent. Really, to have an indented wall on this sort of wood strut, you need at least a 7x7 square, and ideally a 9x9 square, but we can work with this. This is all right. So let's get ourselves the spruce door, same way, get it in there in the middle, and that is beautiful. Right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to build up our sides. We're going to decide where we want to have windows, and in this one I'm actually going to put windows on all 3 sides. So let's put a little glass pane in there, and in there. That is going to allow us to bring again in our stone brick stairs over the top there and there. Now what I am going to do, however, is I'm going to bring stone brick there, but I'm not going to do it here, because what I want to have here is some window sillage. So we're going to put a window sill there. I'm just going to see if it's too sticky outy when we put these feet on. I don't think it will be, but let's get them on anyway, and we'll see how they look. So they're there, not there, there. Pop them all the way around. So if I now take a step back, is that going to look daft? No, I think we're going to get away with that. That's okay. Let's get ourselves a stone brick step over the top of that. And now we just have to fill those walls in exactly the same way. We're going to have kind of a little bit of mix and match with the different types of stones. I really like the way it works out when you do this. So let's make that happen. Time to step inside. So we've got a little bit more room than the last one, and I want to make sure the bed goes to the side. It's much better than having it in the middle, because then it sort of restricts what you can do around the edges. I am going to use a trap door as a shelf inside this time, and we're going to put the flower pot on the inside, a bit like we did on the last one, with a nice tulip inside it. Let's get there we go, perfect. And then what I want to do is I want to think, now where are we going to put this guy's facilities? So I'm going to have a crafting table at the end of his bed. I think that works rather well. We're then going to put a shelf there on the side that is going to have a chest, and then we can have another shelf across the top here which also has a chest in it. So he's got lots of room, this chap. He is very, very lucky. We are also going to pop a fence post there, and there it is, and a pressure plate on top, and he's got a table. So we've got a shelf, a table, storage, we've got crafting, we've got more storage up there. This guy's got stacks of room in here. We do, again, need to put in a little bit of light. So what we're going to do is we're going to get exactly the same way as we did before. We're going to get one there. We're going to put an item frame around it and a trapdoor into the item frame, and that holds that beautifully. It will give you enough light in here that nothing will spawn, which is obviously what this chap's going to be worried about, definitely, and we're all good to go. What we can do with this guy as well is we can come up and we can do something across the top here. We're just going to glass paint it off. We couldn't do that with the last one because of the way the steps edged off, but inside here we can glass paint this off so he doesn't get too drafty, because there's nothing worse. And we've given ourselves a little bit more trim on this. It's very easy to over detail this, so you have to be very careful. I've left that door open, that won't do at all, will it? Right, so we've put some wooden buttons on the stone and some stone buttons on the wood to try and draw it together, and we've done it at different levels rather than being all at the same level, because if you're at the same level it just looks a little bit too linear. You want to break up that line a little bit. We've got plenty of light on the front, a little bit of colour with the blue flower. We've used trapdoors here. We've used oak trapdoors actually specifically to give it a bit of an underpin. I felt that using the dark oak slab was just too harsh on that with such a small building. It didn't make sense. We've put, again similarly, a little chimney with a pot on top. We put some more green, some shutters on these windows because this is a slightly bigger house. It's got some shutters, more colour and more shutters with a little pot with a flower on that windowsill. And that's a relatively simple build, but I think it works for a little 5x5. And we've got all 6 of those little house modules have now been placed in exactly the same place as they are over there in the original village. And I think it's really starting to take shape. Let's crack over and see what Kyle's done. And once again, Kyle has not disappointed us. We have got our 4x5 there and our 5x5 there. Let's get the 4x4 done first. Now, first off, what great use of stripped wood. I love the fact that he's done the frame and used the same wood underneath to create that large window. This is a tiny house, and that large window is going to give huge amount of light. I'm going to make the inside look really, really spacious. The back of it, very little you can do when you've only got a 2 gap. I mean, it's literally, you've got 2 gap between these 2 posts. It's an absolute nightmare, but we have managed to get another 2 high window in here, and I like the use there of that half slab giving a vent in there. And also, oh, I missed it around here, look, vents all the way around, plenty of aeration in here. We have got iron doors, which is really nice. I like the use of the iron door there. It moves away. It definitely needs iron door for it to be able to work with a modern build. Slabbed roof. We've got lighting under the floor there, making sure that we've got plenty of space inside. Really good job there. Nice one. What we got up the top. And yet we have got the patented iron trapdoor method that Kyle uses so well in his modern builds. Really difficult 5x4, and that is a good job. Let's look at the 4x4 now, and this is a little bit easier because you've got that extra dimension in one space. And what we've done here is we've clearly taken the white model from the previous builds and wrapped it beautifully around here. So we've got two sides of the building here encompassing this modern overlapping white what would you call it, white lintel, white edging. Really works. But look at that visually. Look at what you've got as you look there. You have got white, you've got the stripped bark, you've got the tan colour of the stripped bark, you've got the grey of the cobble, you've got kind of the different tan colour there of the step and of the door and of the step there, and you can just see the ceiling as well. You've got this black concrete underneath that just works so well with that white. You've got the trapdoor, you've got the almost silver colour here with these half slabs, and then you've got this green, and it works. It just pops the building when you do the green. It makes such a difference. It's come around the back, and we're using again the white glass there, but what I really like here is we're edging this is with a cobble wall. Now that's a really interesting use of that wall, because obviously you can see it joins with the concretes, but it doesn't join with the glass, so you get a really nice straight edge up and down, and you don't get this bumping on that side, and that gives you a really nice line. Modern builds have good lines in them, and that works well. You've got a nice fence there almost suspending that bush, and that is obviously using a trapdoor for its support. Let's pop ourselves inside using, can I get in? There we go, much better. So we've broken up that concrete there with a little bit of carpet, which I really like. It just moves the eye away from that solid blackness, because concrete is so very solid. Look, no edges whatsoever, and a good, strong, solid wall there. And we've got coming up onto the roof, and we've even got the roof here, look, where you can come up and sun yourself on a nice day. And when it starts to rain, which inevitably does in the UK, I don't know from where Carl is, but you can come inside and shelter from the rain. That is, I tell you, for a 5x5, mate, that is an absolute charm. I'm really impressed. And I am sure, yes, we have. Let's pop ourselves over to the village and see how it incorporates into the village. And you can see here, we are starting to get a lot of whiteness going on. We've got the 3 individual small builds here, 2 4x5s, 1 5x5, and over the back there you can see 2 4x5s, 2 5x5s, and interestingly, for some reason in Carl's village, we've also got another little 4x5 there. So he's had to do one more than me, poor fella, and that's not fair. Just so interesting that the spawns are different. I know a few of you have said, no, the spawns are the same. The spawns are the same. They are not the same. They are very different. They've got all the same buildings, just not got them all in the same order. Brilliant job there, Kyle. I love the way this jetty here brings in all 4 of these houses into a single road. It's almost like you're walking in the Maldives around some of those sea-mounted houses. Absolutely brilliant. We have got another really good collaboration video coming for you next week. We're going to be attempting another building out there, and it is going to be fabulous if what we've done so far is anything to go by, because we've got some really flat stuff going on and we need to sort that out. Brilliant. Go and subscribe to Kyle if you have not already. Go and see the video. The link is in the description below. So please do go and say, "Hello Kyle, I've come from Avo's channel and I love what you're doing." And make sure you hit his like button as well. And also, speaking of like buttons, if you have enjoyed this video, please do remember to slap the like button on this one. It'd be great to know you're enjoying them, and we will keep on making them. Also, if you've not done it already, please do hit that subscribe button. It'd be great to see you in my sub club, and I look forward to seeing you in another video. You take it easy now. Bye.